Today I'm going to be breaking down the top 3 Townhall 10 strategies you can use to 3-star any base in hard mode. So the first army we are going to be jumping in to take a look at is going to be this army right here, and it is Zap Dragons. Now Zap Dragons is incredibly strong here at Townhall 10, and with the help of the giant arrow on the queen, it is even stronger because we can take out multiple air defenses with this giant arrow. So let's jump in and we'll break down this attack. So the first thing we want to identify when doing this specific attack is 2 air defenses we're going to take out with the giant arrow, and the other 2 air defenses we're going to take out with the earthquakes and zap spells. Now let's take a look at this base, because what we need to make sure we can do is line up 2 air defenses, because remember the queen's giant arrow shoots in a completely straight line from wherever you put her in, so we're going to try and pick off 2 of those air defenses. Now on this particular base there's probably quite a few areas in which we can do this, but the easiest I can see is to get this air defense and this air defense with the same giant arrow, because we're going to be looking to place it probably on this laboratory right here to try and get the alignment right to push through both of them. That then leaves this air defense over here and this air defense over here. Now another alternative is, if you want to use those zaps and earthquakes on the Inferno towers, you can also do so, but personally I think taking out the air defenses is the better option at Townhall 10. So let's go ahead and click play, and we will see, yep, here comes the giant arrow, and it rips through both of those air defenses and catches quite a few of those other buildings. So it's really important you try and make sure you plan out your attack so you can clear out 2 of those air defenses, which means you then have the other 2 on the back end to deal with the lightning spells. So after that we're going to be bringing the Barbarian King in so he can help tank this queen, and the idea with the heroes here is to clear a path up one section of the base to help create that funnel, because we do not want our dragons to go around the outside of the base. Ideally we're looking for them to go on to the inside. So once they start to create that funnel, we're then going to use a baby dragon on the opposite side again just to help create that funnel. Of course our giant arrow did push all the way through, so we've actually cleared a couple of the buildings on the far side of the base, and then we're going to go ahead and get the rest of our troops in. We've got some balloons just to help pick up any seeking air mines, and then we've of course got the dragon coming in as well. Now we're going to be bringing those earthquake spells, because you can see right here we're going to be using 4 on each air defense to take them down. We actually don't need the earthquake spells in this one. 4 of those lightning spells will do the job, so it means we can then go ahead and push the rest of our dragons into the base. Now typically you do want to try and avoid those sweepers, but you also want to make sure your troops are going to go into the base, and this depends on where you use your queen. So of course we used our queen over on this section, which means we kind of are forced to funnel along that left hand side, create the funnel on the other side, and then push your dragons in between. This air sweeper might look like it's causing some issues, but we have a rage, we have a freeze, and we also of course have that poison spell, which we're going to see in play right now. Perfectly here actually is going to get us through the enemy queen as well as the enemy clan castle troops. Stone Slammer is going to be the choice of siege machine right here, because it's just so incredibly strong down here at Townhall 10. It's going to do some massive DPS of its own, and then when it pops you're going to see we've got some nice balloons there and a dragon rider. That dragon rider going to be able to pick up some really nice DPS, helping us through on the back end, because we do still have this multi-target inferno to deal with. But we have so many dragons left. We literally have so many dragons left up on this base. This strategy is incredibly strong in regular wars and of course in hard mode as well, because you just clear all the air defenses and it means there's hardly anything doing significant DPS on those dragons. Especially one of the things you want to identify, if there is multi-target infernos, this strategy is 100% going to work. If there's single target infernos, I would be a little more careful. But if they're single target infernos, I think the next army we are going to take a look at will be absolutely perfect to use against those type of bases. So the next army we're going to be jumping in to take a look at is going to be Zap Witches. Now this is super super strong because you can completely wipe out any base with it. You guys will see we are coming in with 15 witches in this specific army. We've got plenty of zap spells, and we're going to be bringing the log launcher as our siege machine. So first things first, I did mention in that previous one, if you come up against single target infernos, this is a really good army composition to use, and you can actually get rid of all those zap spells and you can use something different. But if you're forced up against a multi-target inferno like we are on this specific base, you can still easily crush it using witches, because all you have to do is come in with those zaps. So it's going to take 1 earthquake spell and 4 lightning spells to take out an inferno tower down here at Townhall 10. And of course, what we want to make sure we're doing is picking up as much value as possible. And then the rest of this army is basically spam. There is very little skill involved to this army. The only thing you want to make sure you are doing is zapping out those inferno towers nice and early. So you see, we're actually going to catch the enemy queen with those zap spells, then the earthquake spell is going to come in. We're then going to do the same on the top one, clearing out a wizard tower as well, and then we're going to use 1 golem, we're going to use 2 golems, and then we're going to use our finger just to draw a line of witches in behind. We're then going to use our log launcher directly opposite the town hall to try and push through as much as we can. King going to come in, queen going to come in, and that's pretty much us done. We do not need to stress too much about this particular army because it is so strong and so easy to do even in hard mode. Poison spell, of course, is going to help us get through those enemy clan castle troops. The hero on the king is going to be the same as the previous attack. On the queen though, we're switching up the giant arrow to the frozen arrow just to make sure we're picking up a little bit more DPS on this attack, because the giant arrow isn't particularly needed to take out any specific defenses. King's ability going to go off in the middle, and you'll see behind him we have super wizards in the clan castle, and super wizards in the clan castle is absolutely a great option because it completely tears through the core of any base with the splash damage they can do. But honestly, this base is completely crushed. We have wiped out so much of it. Without those inferno towers, this base has never really stood a chance. Those golems did a great job at tanking. We actually still have the queen's ability for this one on the back end. The king's going to be able to push through really nicely because we only have 2 defenses left up, and you guys can see this base is completely wrecked. And this strategy, I've seen it used against so many different bases, and zapping out those inferno towers basically means you've already guaranteed yourself a 3-star. As long as you create a little bit of a funnel and you get nice amount of troops into the core of the base with that log launcher, you're pretty much set for a very nice triple. And the third and final army composition we're going to be taking a look at is, of course, the infamous Go-Ho Golems. Hog Riders are crushing bases. We see it at Townhall 8, Townhall 9, and of course at Townhall 10 it's made even stronger with the use of that log launcher in our kill squad. So let's jump into the attack. There's a couple of things we need to make sure we remember. Now, if you've done Go-Ho before, the foundations of this attack are pretty much identical. You're going to use those golems to tank, you're going to use the wizards to create the funnel and then use them in behind. King and queen are going to come in alongside the log launcher, and ideally what we're looking to do here is to push in and clear out the clan castle troops and the enemy heroes if we possibly can. Picking up an inferno tower or something like that is also of course going to be of benefit, but it's not the end of the world, because at Townhall 10 you've actually got a lot of spells to use, and 4 heal spells is more than going to be enough to help us get through this one. So let's jump in. We're going to use a golem over on this left hand side, a golem at the top section, wizards coming in behind. We're going to give them a second just to start creating that funnel. Then, like I said, log launcher, king and queen all coming in together, and the aim with this log launcher is to open up as many wall sections as possible. So you'll see the actual placement of this, it's going to open up basically this entire line, opening up all of this right hand side compartment and all of these 3 left hand side compartments. Just going to give these troops a little bit of time. Unfortunately, on this particular example, it looks like our king is actually walking to the outside of the base, but that's not the end of the world, because our queen's going to be going into the core, and then we're actually going to use here rage and a heal on our super wizards, which are going to be coming out and doing some massive splash damage against as many buildings as we possibly can. Now, we don't particularly need to use a heal spell here, but it is nice just to help push those super wizards a little bit deeper into the base, because on this particular example, you're going to see we're actually going to reach this multi-target inferno, which means we've completely cleared this entire top section and even into the core of the base with our kill squad. And our kill squad is actually still going. We still have the king, whose ability has just gone off, and we have the queen with her ability too. We're then going to come in with our Hog Riders. Now, you don't need to be so careful at Townhall 10 with those Hog Riders, because double giant bombs won't kill them. So you can spam them in a little bit more, and we have 3 heal spells to get us through, only a few defenses. So honestly, just use those heal spells as and when you need to. You'll see we drop the first one almost straight away. The multi-target inferno in the core is going to go down with the help of our queen. In comes a giant bomb, does a little bit of damage but not that much. Another heal spell going to be coming in to help us through the back end, but at this point we have a swag queen ability, we have a swag heal spell, we have a swag freeze spell. This base is completely crushed. This strategy is so strong. Even in hard mode, the log launcher getting this much value on a base with those super wizards coming out and the help of the rage spell. If you clear this much of a base with the kill squad, the Hog Riders are going to decimate the back end like we have just seen here. You're going to be able to swag hero abilities, swag spells, and you're going to be able to crush your enemies. So that brings us to a close on this top 3 video here at Townhall 10 for hard mode. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you did, make sure you go down and leave a comment which one of these 3 strategies was your favorite. Leave a like on the video while you are down there, and subscribe for lots more content just like this here on the Townhall.